Welcome in once again to another Johnny Torch live program. Another live broadcast coming to you high atop stately Torch Tower, looking over the fair metropolis below, or overlooking the fair metropolis below, one or the other. Glad to be with you again on another stellar evening in the summer. It's still hot out there, even though it kind of cooled off here to a mild 83 degrees or so. But welcome in. Thank you for joining us once again. And that, of course, was the first trailer. I say first, specifying that there's more than one now. We're going to debut the second trailer created for the Bullets Bourbon comic saga. I had at least 3 in mind when I was thinking of putting together trailers. I wanted to do one for the Death of Bullets Bourbon issue, which you have just seen. And the one we're going to do next that we're debuting today is going to be the one for Temptation Eyes, that issue. And I really like it. It came together pretty well. I'm excited to show you that one, but we're going to show you that a little bit further into the show. And I got an idea for another one. So the third one will be sort of a all-encompassing trailer that is going to give you an idea for the whole of Bullets Bourbon comics, not necessarily just a specific issue. So I'm going to probably be working on that one very soon. Speaking of the most recent issue, which is going to be called Get the Lead Out, which is Act 1 of the new story arc, Man of Our Times. The work on it has been completed. I am officially done with it. It is no longer in my hands. And so this baby is ready to go out into the world, and it's being looked at now by my file guy. And, it won't be too long before it gets into the hands of the printers. Of course, printing and paper shortages being what they are and so on and so forth, I can't really claim to know exactly when it's going to be in your hands, but it should be ready by October at the very latest, I would imagine. Probably by October, you should have it in your hands. And of course, the storyline here is the ominous Pencil Neck has returned. He is released from Lockmore Prison's wing for the criminally insane. Powerless and allegedly sane. Allegedly sane and powerless. We don't know for sure. Of course, Bullets Bourbon, if you see him on the cover here, he looks like he's kind of skeptical at that. Bullets Bourbon and his friends, Joe and Chubby, look pretty skeptical. But we're introducing a couple of new characters here. We have Iggy Duke from the Stark City Broadcast News there, trying to get a exclusive interview with the allegedly former master criminal now being released from prison. And this is going to be a good one. This is a good story arc. I'm really excited about this one. Pencil Neck, as I've said before, is one of my favorite villains. And, it's a difficult character to write for because he's mad as a March hare. Now, allegedly here, he's sane. So how is that going to be appearing differently than his usual madcap, mad as a March hare persona? We'll see. You're going to have to see. You might get an idea if you read where we left him in When the Night Comes, the third story arc, which we have remastered in the Bullets Bourbon Chronicles. So take a look at the link in the description below. You can check out our website, which has been revamped and remastered. We've got all kinds of new images up there for you. I didn't take down the preview yet, the free preview, because I haven't decided yet what images from this book I'm going to show, but I do have some images up in the coming attractions and contact page. So if you're interested in getting some first look images, if not pages, then you can check out that page on the site. And of course, check out the link in the description below for my Twitter page. You can keep up with all my shenanigans and goings on there. I'd be happy to pre-order it for you if you are so inclined. But this one won't be ready for a few months yet, unfortunately. But I'm taking the time to do some stuff like this. I'm going to do some commercials, trailers I got to put together, which is fun. It's not that much work really at all. The most difficult part is probably trying to find the right piece of music. Unfortunately, I found a couple of royalty-free pieces of music that I thought went well with the trailers. Also, in my free time, I am still preparing here orders for the Bullets Bourbon commemorative funeral armbands. If you missed out on these when we're at Plastic City Con, we still have a bunch of them remaining. We've got about 20 of them remaining. Only 20 was made. So there's plenty left. And these were very well done, I must say. Professionally made. I spared no expense here to make sure that they were done properly. And, you know, at first blush, I was like, well, maybe we can get like a Sharpie and sort of... No, that wasn't going to do. And I said, I have to find a good company that's going to do this right. And I did find a local company. They did a wonderful job here. And, you know, there's still many available. So if you go to my website on the contact page, it'll send me an email if you message me from there and give me your information. We'll fix you up and get you the Death of Bullets Bourbon pack, which is all 3 comics in the Family Jewels arc. Act 1, The Family Jewels, Act 2, Temptation Eyes, and Act 3 in the final hours. You get a limited edition Carrot Top print, which they're going soon. There's only 25 I made. And you'll get the usual goodies that I always provide, which is a magnet, which has an image from one of the covers or pinups, and also some stickers. So it's a good deal for $20. Yes, for $20 you get all this. I think altogether, geez, I haven't added it up really, but I think it's like a 60-page story when all is said and done. So you're getting your money's worth and then some. So make sure you contact me for that if you are so inclined. All right, so let's not spend too much more time here. We want to get to the show proper. We're going to do the show at hand here now. We're going to start off. Now, it's pretty sad. Last time we did a show, it was a pretty somber event because Michelle Nichols had just passed on, as well as David Warner. Pretty sad, but I would be remiss if we didn't spend some time once again eulogizing a great woman. And unfortunately, Olivia Newton John passed on this past week at the age of 73 of cancer. She'd been battling cancer for quite a while. She'd been doing very well against it as well. I believe she was diagnosed in the early 90s, and she'd done very well, as I applaud her, by using holistic methods as well. She had, I think, a marijuana farm or something on her estate, which she also used. And she did quite well for probably the better part of 30 years battling cancer with holistic methods. And this death did pretty much affect me strongly. I was very depressed to hear this. I had heard that she had bone cancer. I think about a year or two ago, she was diagnosed with bone cancer. And that, of course, is not very good when you hear that. It's much easier to deal with a cancer if it's in an organ more than bone. And that kind of signaled to me that this might be serious. Of course, very beautiful woman and just a lovely soul. She seemed very genuine. Of course, she came out somewhat before my time. I was probably in my single digits when she was at the peak of her fame in the late 70s and early 80s. But I think every living male on the planet had a crush on her at some point. And of course, I was no different. A talented actress and a talented singer. She probably never got quite her due for her talents, I believe. But she had a very ethereal voice, I would say. I mean, even as a kid, my mother had some singles from Olivia, Hopelessly Devoted to You, probably my all-time favorite, Magic, where it just didn't feel like anybody else could have sang those songs, particularly the way she did. And she just went to a different level with them. She transcended the typical pop performance, the typical pop singer. And again, it's just a very sad occasion to have someone have to pass on so young, and 73 is young, from cancer in this day and age. But again, I just felt terrible, and I'm not particularly the kind of person who takes celebrity deaths too hard. I think the toughest ones that I remember was probably Robin Williams, of course, dying young in that respect as well. Leonard Nimoy, although he wasn't, he was in his 80s, he wasn't too young, but still, he was a big part of my childhood, and I think that's kind of also where a lot of these celebrities, when it really impacts you the most, fit into when you first heard of them, and you have those memories that go back so far, and you see them throughout your life. And like I said, I pretty much remember Olivia from those songs, from those singles back in the day. And of course, I think I don't really remember too much of her movie career. I don't think I've ever sat through Grease. I seen Xanadu, I think, which again was, you know, heckled for being a pretty poor movie, but it really was made to order for her, where she plays sort of some kind of angelic muse or something. I haven't seen it in a long time, but you know, again, that did seem to fit her demeanor. It felt like, as I said, she reflected this sort of genuineness and gracefulness, a nobility, so to speak. And again, so we're very sad here, and we just wanted to take the time. I personally wanted to take the time to pay tribute to Olivia Newton John, and hopefully, you know, her family is in my prayers, and she's up there singing with the angels. Okay, so let us carry on, and we will get into some of the topics here at hand. First off, let's talk about the Cobra Kai Season 5 images that were just released. Of course, this is taking forever. It's taking forever. And we're on the countdown to Cobra Kai Season 5. It shouldn't be long now. They released a bunch of images on Monday, I believe it was. I guess spoilers if you're concerned about seeing some of these things, because I know a lot of people are saying this is a lot of information they're giving us. I'm surprised that they didn't give us a trailer that would sort of make sense to give us some of these images. So we've got the Cobra Kai team. We got Anthony. It looks like he's officially joined the squad there. Robbie is with this is Miyagi-Do, of course. It's kind of interesting because Miguel's not here. Now, it's interesting also that Johnny took, or I guess he's going to take Robbie. This could be before that, to find Miguel. And Eagle Fang is going to be sort of like left in the lurch, I guess, for a while. Hawk is there, Eli, aka Hawk. He doesn't quite have the hair stylings back yet from what they did to him in the previous season. So that's interesting. The big news, of course, and again, I don't know why they didn't choose to reveal this in a trailer. Oh, wait a minute. See, I can't find that image. Well, we'll talk about this image first while I try to find the other image. This is the new Sensei for Cobra Kai. And this makes sense to me because Silver had, again, spoilers, I guess, but Silver had Kreese arrested and on a trumped up charge put in the pokey. So it kind of makes sense that he's going to need a little help while he's running the business end of things. So he's gotten another sensei to fill in for Kreese. I think originally I would be concerned with this because whenever you bring a new character into a show and it's not a long-standing character from the lore, you kind of feel like, well, is this going to work? But to be honest with you, they've done that so many times now, and it's worked so many times that I just take it on faith that this character is really going to work out good. They did it with Stingray. I was like, are they really going to make this work? And they did. They did it with Kenny. I was like, another bullied kid story. I mean, we already had that with Miguel and so forth. It worked. So I have faith in these guys, that implicit faith that they're going to be able to bring this character in. And she's going to be a favorite, just like they became. So I don't know the character's name. I couldn't find the copy, but I'm going to go on a limb and suggest that maybe she has a past with Chosen. Chosen, of course, joining Miyagi-Do this season. Here's another image. It looks like this is this in the Mexican DQ while they're trying to find Miguel. It looks like they won some kind of contest or something, some kind of competition. Judging by the fact there's milk on the table, I'm going to guess it has something to do with like hot peppers or something. Some kind of reminds me of like Marion and Raiders of the Lost Ark, where she has this like drinking contest. Maybe it's going to be a chili pepper contest or something. I don't know what else they could be competing with there at a Dairy Queen, but certainly interesting to say the least. All right, and let's see, next image. All right, we've got, this is what I was saying. This is the one we were really worried about. We're really excited about. Was he going to be in the season? Yes, he is. Bad boy Mike Barnes is back. And of course, you remember him as the, one of the antagonists of Cobra Kai season 3. I mean, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid Part 3. Ugh, all these numbers and titles here are getting me way confused. I was just studying his costume here. It looks like he's wearing literally a suit slash gi. You know what I mean? It looks like it kind of like doubles as both. The material looks like, it's very like flexible and conducive to like fighting. But at the same time, it's like styled as if it's a full dress suit. So that'd be interesting. Now, this is what I was saying. I don't know. I don't particularly know why they didn't reveal him in a trailer or something like that. I don't know. This just kind of feels pretty, I don't know, random or something. Of course, everybody was hoping he was going to be in. And I think we kind of knew at this point that, they managed to get, Allie back, Elizabeth Shue. It probably wasn't too difficult to get back Sean Kanan, but we waited for him long enough, and it's like really exciting to see him show up. And again, he was a fun character in Karate Kid Part 3 as a villain. And he was sort of, I compare him to sort of the Clubber Lang of, of Karate Kid villains. He was like a ball of energy. You know what I mean? He was just like ready to go. He was going to go and torture his opponent. He was going to punish them. and he didn't have any compunction about it. Unlike, say, Apollo slash Johnny. I think they were probably analogs, if you want to go that way, where Johnny, he just wanted to win clean. He didn't really want to punish Daniel or anything. And the same way, Apollo just kind of wanted to prove he was the best, and he was just going to take Rocky out. But Bad Boy Barnes, he was devious enough that he really wanted to put the hurt on Daniel. Now, the question is, how are they going to use him this season? I have a feeling what they're going to do is, it's not so much subverting expectations, but I don't think, like you see what they did with Silver, and you've seen what they did with Chosen. Chosen basically evolved. He's not just this, honor killer anymore. And when it came to Silver, he turned over a new leaf, and then Kreese basically just tore down the tree, So I imagine something interesting is going to happen with his character. I think we're going to see him start off being pretty brash the way he was in Karate Kid Part 3, but I do think we're going to see a metamorphosis with him where he's going to sort of take on the characteristics of probably, a more level-headed figure. I think he's probably going to be at odds with Silver at one point. He's probably going to want his cut, because that was the whole thing in Karate Kid Part 3, was that he was going to get big Cobra Kai bucks. And now that, Silver's in need of a partner again, and Cobra Kai is thriving again, he's probably really going to do well working with Silver. But I imagine the end game is going to be that I think Silver is going to be the Emperor. I think Silver is the main baddie. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to have Johnny, Daniel, Chosen, Mike Barnes, and Kreese probably all joining forces by the end. Now, I don't know. Kreese is tough to peg. Now, I think they gave us a backstory for him for a reason, because they kind of want to soften him up a little bit. But at the same time, Silver really only became a villain because of Kreese. So it makes me wonder, who is the main villain? Is it Kreese or is it Silver? Did Silver just outplay Kreese, for the moment? Or is it going to be that, Silver's the main antagonist and Kreese is going to come around? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out. Let me know what you think in the comments below about how exactly you think it's going to shake out. All right, so let's take a few more images here. There's a couple more. Again, apologies if this is taking long, but it's not my fault that I have a very slow laptop. Maybe it's a very old laptop as well. I have some high hopes for this storyline. I think this is going to be interesting if we see Carmen and Amanda working together. And it looks like they just came out of some kind of party or something. And in the trailer, in one of the images, it looks like Amanda's at a party with Terry Silver. And I don't have that image here, but I think what's probably happening is Amanda seems to be sort of paternal of Tori. And we all know that Kreese was like protecting Tori, and now that's gone. Now she's just under the tutelage of Silver, who's either going to make her a monster, or she's going to react badly to finding out at the end of last season that the referee was on the take and that she didn't legitimately win. I think the latter is probably what's going to happen. And I think this is sort of, I don't know for sure, but I think this sort of has to do with her coming to the rescue of Tori. And I think it's going to have something to do with her. And it's interesting. I really like the dynamic between those two, because you have Sam and, Tori being like rivals, but it seems like Amanda is more pro Tori. It's going to be hard to see where that ends up, if Sam is going to keep, sliding away from Amanda and Daniel, or and Tori's going to be brought into the fold. That's kind of another thing that I always find interesting with this show is that it's very much like wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like allegiances change. You can kind of see why they change, but I mean, they'll change 3 times within the course of 6 months, and it'll make sense. When in reality, it probably wouldn't. But you know, it just happens that way. All right, so let's check one more here. We've got Chosen, Daniel, Johnny, and a bunch of people. Nobody really was able to ascertain where these people came from. Some are saying maybe they're from the tournament league, and they don't look like anybody I recognize from at least last season. I don't know. Again, like I said, I think Chosen's going to have something important to do this season when it comes to the new Cobra Kai Sensei, the female Sensei. I'm going to guess they probably have some kind of history together, and then maybe she's going to try to teach Cobra Kai some Sato secrets, and that's going to be another reason why Chosen is like willing to step in, because he doesn't want his father's karate to be misused in that manner. All right, so again, I am really excited for this. This is, I think, September 9th is going to be debuting on Netflix. So hopefully, it's worth the wait, because these images got me really excited. I'm really looking forward to what they do with this season. I think this show could go many more seasons, especially since they're short seasons. They're half-hour episodes in a short season. They really could, keep this going with all the characters they have in play. We still haven't seen Jessica from Karate Kid Part 3. A lot of people are asking for Julie, Hilary Swank, to show up from the next Karate Kid. That wasn't a great movie. Some would argue neither was Karate Kid Part 3, but I mean, that's a little more obvious that they would draw from. But, they could really draw from a lot more sources that they, haven't even begun to yet. We're like 5 seasons in, and we finally got Bad Boy Barnes back. So, and again, it's interesting to see what Johnny's going to do with Miguel and that whole storyline. There's a lot of places they can go, and it's going to be interesting to see where they take it. All right, so let me know what you think about Cobra Kai Season 5 coming up this September. All right, our next story, we got the word that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 got a release date, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Let's see. All right, Sonic 3 will be released December 20th, 2024. Further details remain under wraps, but the film will formally introduce Shadow the Hedgehog to the live-action franchise. It is expected to adapt story elements from the Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog video games, meaning more familiar characters may also show up. Jeff Fowler will be back in the director's chair with Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Miles Tails Prowler, Idris Elba as Knuckles the Echidna, James Marsden as Tom Wachowski, and Tiki Sumter as Maddie Wachowski, all expected to reprise their roles from the previous installments. Jim Carrey announced his retirement from acting earlier this year, so it's uncertain whether he'll return as Dr. Ivo Robotnik. But either way, it's been confirmed the role will not be recast under any circumstances, which is welcome news. No word yet on who will voice Shadow the Hedgehog, but John Wick star Keanu Reeves has emerged as an early fan favorite casting choice. Fans won't have to wait until 2024 to return to the Sonic movie universe, as a Knuckles series is also currently being developed for Paramount Plus and is expected to launch in 2023, presumably bridging the gap between the two theatrical films. All right, so again, exciting news here in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. I thought the second movie was really, really good. I think if you haven't seen that one, definitely tune in for that one. It was basically everything you wanted. I mean, they went nuts with, bringing Tails in, Knuckles in, Robotnik, of course, doubling down on his Death to Sonic attempts. I really hope Jim Carrey returns. From what I've heard, the scuttlebutt is he's not swearing a complete retirement where he'll never work a movie ever again. It's more so that he's, kind of going to be quote unquote choosy about what he chooses to do, what movies he chooses to make, because he wants to spend more time with his art. And he's, basically at a stage where he can retire and he doesn't really need to work. So, there's always the possibility. I believe it's better than average. I think if they actually let him get in the fat suit and do what he wanted to do with Robotnik, I think they probably would get him back all the much sooner. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Next up, this is just some inconsequential news that I'm just trying to pad the show with. But a lot of the internet is abuzz with Batman 2 rumors and what is going to happen with Batman 2 now that David Zaslav is calling the shots. He apparently wants a Trinity-led DCEU. And people are wondering, where does that leave the Batman? Because this is not connected to any universe, really. This is a Maverick project. And this has frightened many a soul because he's canceled Batgirl and many of the other really bad projects that were in limbo. And now he is wanting to focus on the Trinity as a combined universe. And of course, Matt Reeves is too good to do a combined universe, somewhat the same as Nolan is just going to do a Trinity and be as grounded and boring as possible. And then they'll move on to the next auteur director who's going to do the same thing. And Batman remains on the same wheel of pain that he's been on for the last 20 years. All right, so a cohesive plan for the DC Comics adaptations will be welcomed. Variety has shared some insights into where things stand with at least one of them, but it may not be the news that you were hoping for. It's the news I was hoping for. I think they could do without doing Batman 2. I think we should just scrap everything. Really, at this point, I don't even care. Maybe we should just scrap everything and just start over. I mean, the things that I was most looking forward to was seeing Henry Cavill come back as Superman. He's either unwilling or they're not willing to bring him back. One or the other, but we're not getting Cavill back, it seems like. So, scrap him. They're having nothing but problems with Aquaman. Honestly, we can get a more accurate casting for Aquaman. This is Zack Snyder's gift to the DCEU, where he basically gave us an accurate Superman and not anybody else. He gave us a Batman and Ben Affleck that was too old, basically wasn't going to stick around. Gal Gadot, she's okay. Her time has passed, really, and we can get a more comic accurate Wonder Woman, I'm sure. Ezra Miller, need I say more? We're going to talk about him later on tonight. But honestly, let's broom everything. Let's start a new cinematic universe. I mean, I would probably be upset with the loss of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn more than anything else. But in all honesty, they did one decent Suicide Squad movie, and then they did they did two R-rated films back to back of Harley Quinn that nobody's, that kids are not going to be able to see. And they're also going to, most likely, if they ever do any more Harley Quinn movies, it's going to have something to do with Poison Ivy and their lesbian relationship. And so, again, I kind of feel like maybe if we just start over fresh and have, a clean slate, as it were. I don't know. Maybe it's just me pipe dreaming, but I'll return to the copy. The Batman cost over $200 million, but a $770 million haul at the worldwide box office meant it was a hit for the studio. Despite that, the trade reveals that while a sequel remains in development, it has not been officially greenlit by Warner Brothers, and as a result, quote unquote, any future film is years away. It's baffling to think that Batman 2 hasn't already been announced, but it's possible Zaslav feels the first film didn't turn enough of a profit. We can't discount the possibility because $770 million for a movie starring the DC Universe's most popular character isn't a mind-blowing number and is hundreds of millions of dollars less than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and the former Sorcerer Supreme is a B-lister in comparison to the Caped Crusader. Matt Reeves is in the midst of making a Penguin spinoff for HBO Max. Of course, however, if the filmmaker taking his time with his follow-up is the reason the Batman sequel is so far from becoming a reality, he wouldn't put it past Zaslav to move on. If nothing else, the executive has shown himself to be ruthless, and I applaud him for that. So that's about it for the copy. They just, wring their hands and clutch their pearls about if the Batman, is going to get another sequel. But again, I just, that's not Riddler to me. That's not Catwoman. That's not the Penguin. Again, when are we going to get off this wheel of pain of Batman doing the same old realistic takes, ultra realism, and he's got to have villains that are not sci-fi. They're not Clayface, Mr. Freeze. He's got to have even the villains that are street level not be wearing the costumes, like Riddler and Penguin can't look too grandiose. I mean, come on. I just, let's go back to formula. As Norman Osborn would say, let's go back to formula. Let's get, what's wrong with Paul Dini? The guy knows Batman. He's the co-creator of the animated series. I've been saying from day one, get Paul Dini in there, get him to write some scripts. He knows how to write these characters. He's done them in the comics. He's done them in animation. He can do them in live action. But there's always this crazy belief that for some reason a guy that works in comics and a guy that works in animation, he don't know how to write for the screen. I don't know. But I guess the die is probably cast there. I think they're just going to keep going on and on with this franchise. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. If you are a fan of Batman, you're probably not going to like what I just said. But yeah, that's my feelings. I never shriek from controversy, must I admit. All right, so next up, this is interesting. Pennyworth is getting a third season. Did anybody know Pennyworth was still on? I sure didn't. I remember hearing about it when it first came out. And it seemed like that was about 8 years ago. So I can't believe this is only the third season that they're on, unless they're making a season every 6 years. I don't know. It was also on a very, a very strange channel. I never heard of this channel, Epix. I never had that on any of my services. I don't know. But Epix has changed the name with a, subtitle or whatever they call it. That's set the internet ablaze with laughter and regalia, with humor and so forth. The title will now be Pennyworth, the Origin of Batman's Butler, because people didn't know what the heck this show was. And, I can't blame them. I don't think too many people, when they seen Pennyworth, I think they think of that crazy clown, the Tim Curry clown. That was Pennywise, I think, right? They probably think of that. But in this case, I think this was the smart move. You want to brand your show so people know. Now, is that a hokey sounding title? Yes, it's a hokey sounding title, but I really don't know what else you could do. You could say the Butler to the Waynes or something like that, and you still wouldn't get the branding in there of Batman. So you kind of had to do it, I think. I mean, unless, of course, you wanted to just keep going, hoping that people are going to tune in because some fans are that inside baseball that knows, oh, Pennyworth, a DC project? Yeah, it must be Alfred, and not too many people are going to know that. IGN has debuted an official plot synopsis, which reveals a new time period and confirms that we're going to start seeing more superpowered characters enter the fray. Well, that's just what we need, right? Because that's what they always do. Gotham, Smallville, when they start losing the plot and they don't really know what else to do because it's kind of boring to just do a side character or a pre-hero story, they start bringing in the superpowered characters. And it's like, well, what are you going to do with a Killer Croc who's like 20 years older than Batman? You know what I mean? This is what they do, and I imagine this is what they're going to be doing here. The copy says, Season 3 of the psychological thriller begins after a 5-year time jump. The Civil War is over, and a cultural revolution has changed the world for better or worse, ushering in a new age of superheroes and supervillains. So there it stands with Pennyworth on the Epix. I don't know. Were they on HBO Max now? I think they must be on HBO Max at this point because I don't know Epix from a hole in the wall. I'm not sure. All right, so All right, one of our big stories today, one of the big stories we're going to cover. Let's take a look at. I'm trying to find my notes. Where's my notes? The Madam Webb movie. Are y'all excited about the Madam Webb movie? Y'all like that? Madam Webb, huh? Madam Webb. We've got the lovely Dakota Johnson portraying said Madam Webb. And a lot of casting has gone on for this movie. I don't really know too many of the actors. I just know we have Sydney Sweeney, who's like, I guess, the next big thing. I don't really know what she's from because, again, I don't really watch too much. I don't watch too many movies or TV shows. I got to admit, what I usually do is if it has star in the title or if it's some kind of adaptation of a comic book show or movie or comic, that's the only time I'll pay attention. So, you got me here. I don't know who some of these actors are, but there was a lot of casting done, and now we have a rumored synopsis. Now, I don't like dealing in rumors, so I don't really, I don't advocate for this being all it claims to be. But again, take this with a grain of salt. Take this with a grain of salt. This might be true. It might be pure bunkum. All right. All right. The events of Spider-Man No Way Home show that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony Spider-Man universe are connected through the multiverse. The latter franchise is still basically standing on its own, with delivering centered around characters from the comics. This is poorly written. Don't mind me if I misspeak some of these things. To the web slinger. Among the upcoming movies on the horizon is the superhero movie market. See, again, this is written really weird. Madam Webb, which stars Dakota Johnson in the title role, but so far none of the characters her co-stars are playing have been officially identified. However, a new rumor has surfaced which reveals that there are supposedly some major Spider-Man players showing up in this superhero movie. Starting off, Cosmic Circus reports that while Dakota Johnson is playing a younger take on Cassandra Webb, she won't be the only Madam Webb or even the only Spider heroine appear in the Madam Webb movie. Euphoria's Sydney Sweeney, who was revealed to be in Madam Webb back in March, is apparently playing Julia Carpenter, whose comic book counterpart originally fought crime as Spider-Woman and later inherited the Madam Webb mantle after Cassandra died. Speaking of Spider-Woman, allegedly Ghostbusters Afterlife's Celeste O'Connor is playing the Maddie Franklin incarnation of the superhero, while Father of the Bride's Isabella Mercend is participating as Anya Corazon, who's gone by Arana and Spider-Girl in the comics. Assuming all this information is accurate, which we're not sure, it's unclear if any of these three women will have special abilities or simply be depicted as non-powered women in Cassandra's life. Now, here's where things get particularly wild. Allegedly, Severance's Adam Scott is playing Ben Parker, a.k.a. Uncle Ben, a.k.a. Peter Parker's father figure, who is murdered shortly after Peter is bitten by the radioactive spider that gives him powers. Furthermore, Scream Queen's Emma Roberts is said to be starring as May Parker. Not May Parker, a.k.a. Peter Parker's Aunt May. It's Mary Parker, Peter's mother. Assuming Mary is indeed appearing in Madam Webb, it's unclear at this time who's playing her husband and Peter's father, Richard Parker. So this is interesting. Are they trying to give us the Uncle Ben movie here that we all wanted to see way back when? Remember they wanted to give us an Aunt May movie too? It was like they wanted to give us an Aunt May movie, and we were like, come on, give us that Aunt May movie. But seriously, maybe this is why Disney didn't use Uncle Ben, because they were afraid that they were going to use him in this film and they were going to have to attach themselves to that version of Uncle Ben. I don't know. Back to the copy. Adam Scott's casting as Ben Parker might sound weird, considering he's younger than the character is usually depicted, but this would actually track with some Madam Webb set photos that emerged in mid-July, indicating this movie, at least partially, will be set in the early 2000s. So assuming a young Spider-Man were active in the present, then having Ben appear as a younger man would make sense, as would seeing Emma Roberts' Mary Parker. In fact, a separate batch of Madam Webb set photos show that Robert's character is pregnant, meaning that this version of Peter Parker isn't far off from coming into the world. Assuming for the sake of argument that Madam Webb is set entirely in the early 2000s rather than just through flashbacks, then not only am I wondering exactly how Ben and Mary are tied to Cassandra Webb and these other characters, but I'm also curious if the events in this movie somehow paved the way for Peter Parker to be left in the care of his aunt and uncle. Traditionally, Richard and Mary die in a plane crash, although the circumstances behind said crash differ depending on what story you're reading/watching. Regardless if these character details end up being true, then Madam Webb will be the first Sony Spider-Man universe movie to have members of the Parker family appear, perhaps teasing that this franchise will eventually spotlight its own version of Peter Parker. In addition to the aforementioned actors, the Madam Webb cast also includes Tahar Rahim, Mike Epps, and Zoysa Mamet. The movie is now slotted on the 2023 release schedule for October 6th, meaning it will arrive 9 months after the next Sony Spider-Man Universe release, Kraven the Hunter. So what do you think about this? What do you think? This is the only on-set photo I could find right now of Madam Webb in the movie. Dakota Johnson as Madam Webb. Other rumors I've heard have suggested that this is going to be like a Terminator movie where Madam Webb and her little Webblings are going to have to try to protect Mary Parker and for some reason Ben Parker, because someone's going to be trying to kill Mary and she won't give birth to Peter. I don't know. It doesn't sound all that interesting that way when you say it that way, because it sounds like basically just they're trying to take the Spider-Man name and slap it on a Terminator script, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. This could be interesting. This could be a disaster. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And yeah. All right. So with that, we're into our final story, of course. The final story of the evening being what the heck to do with Ezra Miller. What are we going to do with that kid? That crazy mixed up kid. But first, I had this, I had you guys waiting with bated breath long enough. I have this trailer ready to play for Temptation Eyes, the 8th issue in the Bullets Bourbon saga. And this is our world premiere debut. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let it roll. Drum roll, please. Fanfare, you know, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up. Fanfare begin. Here we go. There we go. All right. Isn't that great? We've got Temptation Eyes now with its own trailer. Very exciting stuff. I really wanted it to get funky. And that was about as funky as I could find a song. That was royalty free anyway. That was a great song. And, you know, just check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. You will see the excitement and the just suspense, the thrills, the chills. I can't oversell this book enough. I'm telling you, this is the excitement that you've been looking for your whole entire life. And if that promo clip doesn't get you jazzed and excited to check it out and see the funky, fresh Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, I don't know what else to tell you. All right, but before we leave for the evening and carry on, we of course have that Ezra Miller update. What's going on with this crazy kid now?
Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
Whoa, bro.
Fight?
Yep, that crazy mixed up Ezra Miller boy. We don't know what he's gonna do next, but we're sure we're gonna see something from him before long. All right, so where did we leave off? We do these updates about Ezra. I don't know how long the last one was apart from this one, but it seems like we've got like a ton of news since then. All right, according to a police report via Variety, the actor who uses they them pronouns, not by me, but this is what you're going to hear in the copy, has been charged with felony burglary in Stamford, Vermont. Oh my gosh, he's getting closer to me. He's in New England now. I don't know what the heck to do. I got to barricade myself in, I think, because you never know what's going to happen with this guy. He's on a rampage across the country. He was in the Hawaiian Islands. Then he went across the Midwest. Now he's up here in the Northeast. I don't know what to do. They need to give us like a survival guide. What to do when Ezra Miller is in your neighborhood. I don't know. What are you going to do? All right. It's not clear if this is something previously reported or a new offense, but the report states that a burglary complaint from a residence in Stamford was lodged at 5:55 p.m. on May the 1st. Police found that several bottles of alcohol were taken from the residence while the homeowners were not present. So Ezra's going to go in. He's going to drink all your booze. He breaks into your house. He drinks all your booze and doesn't even leave you a dime for it. After collecting statements and looking at surveillance videos, police found probable cause to charge Miller with felony burglary into an unoccupied dwelling. The authorities are said to have located Miller on August 7th at 11:23 p.m. and issued them a citation to appear in Vermont Superior Court in September. Last we heard, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav was still committed to debuting The Flash in theaters next June, but you have to believe serious discussions are now taking place about how to handle everything from marketing to press in the buildup of the movie's release. Even if Miller is able to avoid a prison sentence, is anyone going to want to see the film with them in it? Plenty of actors and directors, look no further than Roman Polanski, have maintained careers after being accused and or charged with worse. But times have changed, and Miller is at the forefront of a major studio superhero tentpole that will hope to appeal to as wide a demographic as possible. All right, so that is the first story here. Now, there's also charges of him. I don't know. I couldn't get a full story on this, but he's leading a cult or something, and he was holding a family hostage. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know what is going on with this character. All right, now the rest of the story has to do with what is going on with Warner Brothers and Zaslav, and is he going to be able to do anything with this film, or are they going to scrap it? So let's take a look at that. All right. As the controversies surrounding Ezra Miller continue to mount, it's become increasingly apparent that Warner Brothers Discovery needs to do something about The Flash. This week alone, the actor has been charged with felony burglary amid reports that child services are attempting to retrieve 3 children of a woman residing at Miller's farm for their own safety. It just doesn't get any weirder than this. Did you ever hear anything as weird as this? I know I haven't. It's obvious that the studio can't continue to ignore what's going on with the actor, and the Hollywood Reporter has now revealed that 3 options are being mulled over. The first is that Miller will seek professional help, something the studio has heard could be the case after they return to their farm in Vermont with their mother. From there, the hope is that the actor can give a tell-all interview explaining the recent behavior, later doing limited press for The Flash and avoiding any future negative headlines. If Miller doesn't seek help, the movie could still be released, but the actor would not factor heavily into marketing or publicity. He would also no longer be cast as the Scarlet Speedster, leading to someone else playing Barry Allen in future projects. The third scenario, and this would be the last resort, is that if things worsen with Miller, The Flash will be scrapped and never released. Miller plays multiple characters and is in nearly every scene, so reshooting the scenes with another actor is impossible. It's unknown which of these three routes Warner Brothers will head down, but canceling a $200 million movie would be unprecedented. That's why I think they're keeping this going. I mean, they put too much money on this one to just drop it now. I think they probably are going to release it. But I think for better, or, come high tide, no matter what, whatever analogy you want to use, I think he's done with the role. I think they're done with Ezra Miller after this. It's expected to be an important chapter in the DC Extended Universe's future, but regardless of whether Miller seeks help, it's hard to believe they'll stick around as the fastest man alive in any one of these possible outcomes. A Salvador Dali biopic, Dali Land, will premiere at the Toronto Film Festival next month, and Miller stars in the film alongside Sir Ben Kingsley. They haven't been cut, but there's no mention of their name in the announcement about the movie's premiere. This may give you an idea how The Flash could be marketed, with the Flash mask remaining on and the actor rarely talked about. For now, The Flash is still set to be released in theaters on June 23rd, 2023. So, coming soon to a city near you, it may just be Ezra Miller and his bizarre rampage across the country. What do you think they should do about this movie? I mean, they already scrapped Batgirl, and I don't really feel too badly about that, because even though I wanted to see Michael Keaton's performance, it was a bad movie to begin with. I mean, by all accounts, and it was only going to be some kind of 4 or 5 scene supporting thing. This one seemed like there was more story involved for Michael Keaton, and that he would play some kind of big dramatic role and have some kind of huge impact in the script. So I would be a little more disappointed if this film goes away, but I think definitely they have to cut ties with Ezra Miller. I think the days of thinking they can work with him is just over. And hopefully at some point, the Flash will be recast, and, Lucas Till. Just saying. The guy looks like Barry Allen from the comics. I mean, he's a good actor. I've seen him in several things at this point. Give it to Lucas Till. Just recast. The multiverse has been going on, and now it's going on in the MCU. I think it started with DC, so just pretend this was some other kind of universe. Start up another universe with, as we were talking about earlier, and then have Lucas Till be the new Flash, the new Barry Allen. I think that's it. That's all you have to do. All right, so that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Let me know what you think in the comments below about any of the topics we were talking about. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like button and click the bell for notifications. What do you think is the future for The Flash? Is that going to be the end of Ezra Miller's reign as The Flash? And do you think it should be? Also, let me know if you have any fond thoughts or memories of Olivia Newton John. And that's going to be it. So God bless Olivia Newton John, and we'll see you again next week, hopefully, at our regularly scheduled time here on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch Live program. And so until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.